He said he wasn't a member of a gang, and then they looked, and on his knuckles he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
So this is one of the big ones. This one is maybe the most "what are we doing here" bit to the entire interview. So a little while ago, and this caught me up as well because I was confused by it, Donald Trump held up a photo of the knuckles of Kilmar Abrego Garcia that news claimed was photoshopped. Now, because I'm stupid and I still vainly hold on to the belief that we live in a world that makes sense, I assumed that when they said this was photoshopped, they meant the tattoos on Abrego Garcia's fingers here, that they were added in post, and that the MS-13 right here was meant to indicate what those symbols really represented. Marijuana leaf, smiley face, cross, and skull. Obviously, that means MS-13, of course. It's genius. It could be literally anyone's hand. This is Kilmar Abrego Garcia's hand. Those are his tattoos. The Photoshop in question is the text added over it. Now, I assumed, looking at this photo, that any human being capable of reading the text MS-13 would understand what a real tattoo is and what the characters superimposed over it to describe meaning are. Donald Trump doesn't. Donald Trump believes that MS-13 were tattooed on his knuckles. I don't know what to say about this. It's cognitive decline that surpasses anything Biden ever did. Biden was sleepy. He is Sleepy Joe. This is true. But when he was present in a conversation, his mind worked a lot better than this. Look at this again.
And then they looked, and on his knuckles he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
He thinks it's actually MS-13. Like, he thinks that text is real.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
Notice how he's trying to move on past this point. Trump is actually confused. In Trump's mind, MS, 1, and 3 are tattooed on Kilmar Abrego Garcia's knuckles. And he's confused why this radical left reporter is questioning this obvious material fact. Guys, I don't know. I don't think it can go on like this. I'm not kidding. This is the kind of shit that people refer to in history books thousands of years later. These are tidbits and anecdotes that get thought of in the future as like references to why civilizations collapse. I can't go on, boss. I can't do this no more. I think Trump's just lying. No, 0% chance. He believes it. Look at how he reacts here. The interviewer is trying to move on from a point in which Trump is obviously provably wrong. He's persisting. He thinks it's real.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-1.
Don't do that. See? Don't do that.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
I don't think we can go on like this. It really does reframe so much of Trump's character and the way he responds to the people around him. When Trump plays up the victim complex, it's real. When Trump says the left media is lying about him by posting stuff that he did, he's telling the truth, or at least he thinks he is. He's being sincere. It's possible that he's always been sincere. This on its own is enough to, like, every moment where we assumed, well, he has to be lying about that at least. I don't know anymore. I genuinely don't. It's possible that he's always been more compromised than we could even begin to guess at. He's not talking about the letters and numbers. He's talking about the tattoos themselves. He explicitly said, you need to listen, man. He literally explicitly said he had MS-13 tattooed in his hand. He said it as explicitly as I did. He's talking about the letters and numbers.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, Do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the...
Trust me, he's telling the truth. If he was lying, do you really think he'd be acting like this?
Picture. We'll
and you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be.
Do anyone in chat want to continue to... This is so much worse than if he was actually lying. Yeah, it really is. This man has the nuclear codes. It's actually genuinely horrifying. This is so much worse.
Not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look.
It's you do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't you
sir.
just say yes?
I think that... I don't know if Trump's ever told a knowing lie in his life. I don't know. Genuinely. No liar would act like this. He thinks he's caught the radical left interview in an obvious falsehood. The fact that he's so confident about pursuing it, in spite of how provably wrong he is proof that he thinks of his interactions in general this way. That every time somebody corrects him on something, they're obviously wrong. Like, it's not a bit. None of it's ever been a bit. I don't know of any other world leader that's this mentally cooked. I don't know of any American president that's been this cooked. This is worse than Reagan. Easily. Reagan's dementia, exacerbated in his second term. It's far worse than Biden. I can't think of any other president that ever did anything like this. I can't think of any world leader. I mean, if you go back far enough, some water-brained king, maybe, from 500 years ago. This not being plastered everywhere in every news article. Yeah, and as an example of like the extent to which we're captured in a media perspective, this should be, clips like this should be on every news website. This right here, the title should be like, he needs to be overthrown. Like that, praying for a Pentagon coup. Like it's beyond, like this is end of civilization material. This is end of days. In the future, when people look back at this, they will judge us for not having done anything. Invoke the 25th. Well, his cabinet's not going to do it. This Congress isn't going to do it. It's a top-down problem. Look at the depravity of capital, man. Look at what the oligarchs will allow to happen if it marginally boosts their profits. Elon and Jeff Bezos and the like, Sam Altman, whatever, they were all obviously already extremely wealthy. And it wasn't enough for them. Your political system sucks ass. You have a huge amount of power concentrated in one person. Oh, Trump himself has almost no power. The problem is that all three branches of government are controlled by the same oligarchs. All of this comes down to money. In a country where the population wasn't mentally cooked by an entire lifetime of corporate propaganda, this would, like, I mean, it would be like Euromaidan times 10. Certainly, Trump represents a greater threat to America than Yanukovych ever did to Ukraine. It's difficult to imagine any world leader being more potentially dangerous to their country than what Trump and his administration represents to America and the world. But we don't have Euromaidan times 1, let alone times 10. Why? Because at the end of the day, all of this is being dictated to us in a very, very, very slim margin of the population, right? Like the mode of social control has narrowed to the point where through the internet and the monopolization of news media, essentially like 10 people control everything in terms of like how you get your political news. And none of them are willing to go up against Trump. Don't forget the police state. I am forgetting the police state, because you can still protest in this country without getting arrested, unless you're Palestinian or an immigrant or whatever. I'm talking about the information people are exposed to. It's not just a right versus left thing, because the average Democrat also isn't seeing this news, this clip, this interview, you know? It's just kind of crazy to me that back in the days when the printing press was the best way of distributing information, fake news about what Marie Antoinette said was enough to rile up an entire peasant population of barely literate cow shit farmers. They just printed it on paper and ran around villages distributing it. Nowadays, we have all the information in the world, and of 330 million people, I'd be willing to bet at most 5% of the population, the voting population, will ever see this. Maybe not even that. Maybe 10% in total will see clips or discussion related to it.
I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview.
I am
and
happy.
Then you start hitting me with fake questions. You start telling me that a guy whose hand is covered with a tattoo.
He ain't lying, man. He really thinks those MS Paint numbers and letters were on the hand. And if you were Trump and you actually thought that, by the way, it would make sense for you to be this indignant and keep bringing it up because it's such an obvious slam dunk.
Doesn't have the tattoo, you know.
All right.
I mean, you're being dishonest.
No, I'm not.
Let me
No,
just
I'm not.
They should have pulled out the picture, by the way, and I think this interview is a bitch for not doing so. So when Trump says the election was rigged, he truly believes so? 100%. Absolutely he does. Absolutely 100% he does. Absolutely, yeah. It is so fucked up that the interviewer won't bring up the photos of Kilmar Garcia's knuckles even after Trump brought it up continuously over and over again. Like, why? Like, come on, they're not going to shoot you in the Oval Office. Like, come on.
The first 100
Yeah, he's trying to spare Trump the
continues.
embarrassment, which is pathetic. Abbott's a good example of how Republicans are way more evil than Trump. Yeah, for sure. How long has Greg Abbott been operating within the Republican Party? Since, like, it's 2015, I think, since he was governor. But he's been in the Republican Party for way longer than that. 30 years? Yeah. And Greg Abbott is easily more evil than Trump, like, effortlessly. Like monstrous difference between the two. Trump's just a fucking idiot. So yeah, no, yeah, it's important to understand, again, like, we need a reconstructive cultural upheaval. We need a cultural revolution, the likes of which, you know, have never been seen before. We need to fix the country, man. Because this is really bad.